Hey everyone, this is episode 263, and on this episode, it's myself and Bender talking about a lot of stuff, and that's what we usually do. I apologize for the low-key intro. I just got back from a work trip. I'm very hungover as I record this, and now I got to go edit this and put it out and try to find some way to not take a nap. So while I go do that, and, well, I guess by the time you're listening to this, I've already done that. Anyway, hey, episode 263. The bomb's about to start. Just listen to it. Damn it. That's all. Here it comes. Now.
I mean, Olivia Munn did the same thing, though. Like, out of the gate. She was naked in almost every single movie.
I thought she was, like, almost naked.
No, she'd always get naked. Apparently, she was in Shameless, and, but I never watched
Olivia
that.
Munn was in Shameless?
No, Amy Smart.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And she's in DC Stargirl. So she's working.
Wait a minute. Is that Stargirl on the CW?
Yeah, I think so, right?
Well, she ain't in that no more. Because the entire Arrowverse was canceled.
Did they cancel the whole thing?
It's rest in peace Arrowverse, it's been saying, so I just assumed.
I knew they were, like, phasing it down. I know League of Legends, Legends of Tomorrow. I guess this is their last season.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a hit squad out on them. I think, if I were...
It just ran its course.
Well, if I were a betting man, I would say that they're going to come back with their own version of DC Universe in HBO.
Yeah, because they already have the Young Justice or Teen Titan. What they have a live action.
Yeah, they have that. They've had they had Suicide Squad. So.
Yep, Peacemaker and all that.
Yeah,
if they're gonna try to combine it, but Jeremiah and I watched the first probably 5 or 6 seasons of Flash, and it was pretty good. It just got very repetitive.
Well, I guess first off, let's dial it back and say, hey, we are back.
Yeah.
And there's only 2 of us today, so of course you heard my voice. I'm always on here, and we'll get more into that in the last segment of this thing. And then you also heard just Bender.
Yes, sir.
No other buddy. But so my biggest problem is it goes back to the very first one, Smallville. I told Dwayne when...
but that was a different universe.
Yeah, well, it's what started it and all. And
yeah.
I told Dwayne, I said, and it's the same formula, I mean, all this that DC superhero kind of stuff, but I said every episode for me, now it was more of a kid's or teen vibe show.
It's real formulaic.
But I felt like every episode it reset and started the same story over. And when I did watch Arrow a couple of times, I was like, oh, this is 2 seasons apart, and I feel like this is the same episode.
Yeah, Arrow I felt was repetitive. I thought Flash did a pretty good job of spreading it out and stuff. And then they were bringing in like other versions of him, which was okay. And he kind of had like a Peter Parker 1 step forward, 2 steps back vibe going for him.
And I will give them credit, though. Mm-hmm. They told big stories with no ability to pull them off and did an okay job.
Yeah. Dude, I don't know if you've ever looked at it, but like their version of King Shark and Gorilla Grodd, it's Grodd, right?
Yeah.
Fucking badass, and they look spectacular.
Yeah.
Like their whole year's budget is in this one episode.
Well, like what was it? Crisis on Infinite Earths. They did that. Flashpoint. They did. These are big epic stories with,
and they were pretty good.
Yeah, better than they should have been.
Yeah,
they had no business being entertaining.
And they made that the guy from Lost and the guy from Blade Trinity into what seems like decent actors. The Vlad or the King Vampire and Blade Trinity.
Oh yeah.
Who's not a good actor in any way, shape, or form.
Wasn't he? What was he? He was also. Oh, he was. It was Lost, right? Yeah. Or was it Lost?
No, I don't think it was Lost.
No, it was Prison Break.
Yeah, that guy.
Whatever.
The Prison Break guy.
Yeah.
Both of those shows or both of those guys are terrible actors, and they made him at least entertaining on the show.
Well, it's a good start to the podcast. I do have, I guess, literally 2 things to talk about. One would be your tweet. We didn't get a chance to talk about it in Kansas City. We'll touch on Kansas City and why you bounced early. I didn't ever tell that story, really.
Okay.
But before we get into that, we're going to leave the names out, but I'm going to show you something that popped up on our family calendar this last week. Mine and Missy's family calendar, which means I entered it.
Okay, because you're the only one organized enough to put it into a family calendar.
No, she does too, but it pertains to you and me. And don't say the names, but just read what it is and see if you remember where it came from. because it's funny that
Oh, dude, I thought about this not that long ago.
I can tell you.
And I remember saying I would do that, but I couldn't remember the context of why I did that. I'm like, thank God that never happened.
It was almost 2 weeks ago is when it popped up. And so here's the thing. Here's what's going to let you off the bet, and myself, I guess. One, I don't. So here's what we're talking about. We're going to leave the names out to protect the innocent, but we had a friend that organized a get-together, guys only, at his house. And his wife decided she would take the kids and go stay somewhere else. Or they didn't have kids at the time or something.
Yeah.
They were gone. So she'd go stay somewhere else. So everybody on the podcast was convinced she was cheating on her husband.
Yeah.
And we got not an argument, but it was a good debate.
Yeah.
And it was either pre or post podcast talk is how it came up. So Bender and I made a bet that if it came out that she in fact did, I would have to shave my beard off. And if it came out then she in fact didn't, which all signs point that way, you had to shave your head. But Missy said there's enough deniability that we still can't prove whether it did or did not.
Exactly.
So here's the thing. We can only prove that it did happen if something were to happen, like a divorce would happen.
Yeah. But we couldn't pinpoint it to that moment in time.
And we do know that, though, not girls. As a Freudian slip. Couples, significant others are capable of cheating and going past it without letting anyone none the wiser. Or even if they were the wiser, no one knows. So we have no way to follow it through on that bet. But you talk
Thank God.
Yeah, but I can't. I'm amazed you even remembered the bet. I had no clue.
I remembered the context. I remembered the bet. I did not remember why we were doing what we were going to do. And I was like, well, whatever it was, I'm glad it never came to fruition. Because it was definitely a post podcast agreement because I was drunk.
Yeah, we were drunk, obviously.
I was like, obviously I would never make this bet
so that
sober.
The app we were using is Cozy.
Okay.
So we don't use that anymore. Now we just sync up our Google Calendars with the whole family. But Missy one time luckily imported the Cozy stuff.
Nice.
So it came up. She goes, "What the fuck is this?"
Hilarious.
And I go, "What?" And I read it. I go, "Holy shit! How did that even happen?" That's talking about things we do when we're drunk.
Yeah. Speaking of things we did when we were drunk.
Speaking of being drunk, though. I did touch on, and I was supposed to. This podcast this week was supposed to be Moeller and AC. Well, here's the problem: we had a limited window on Sunday to do it, and it did not rain enough to cancel sports, which I expected it to do.
Mm-hmm.
So
it didn't even rain Sunday.
So I had to. Yeah, well, it was beautiful Sunday.
Yeah,
but I just thought all the saturation of the fields, it was going to be impossible. So I had to cancel it, and then AC's busy all week, and Moeller was busy. But here's what I'm going to say, and if AC or Moeller are listening, when I canceled it at about noon, I think, it could be off by a good 30 minutes. No, the Sunday. We were supposed to record it Sunday.
Oh, okay.
I told you guys Tuesday because I thought I was moving it.
Gotcha.
But when I sent it, I asked AC. AC said, the only night I could do would be Tuesday night. I said, great, let's see what Moeller comes back. And he sent us a picture of himself hiking, saying, I'm on a shroom trip right now. Wait till I get back to the real world. Here's the thing. How was he going to do a 3 o'clock podcast if at 12 o'clock he was shrooming out on a hike? I mean, he's a high function. I mean, he deals with it. He's a microdoser guy, so he may deal with it better than us.
Clearly wasn't that far away if he still had service.
Yeah, but I was like, well, maybe he might have ruined the whole day anyway. I'm hoping that would have been the case, so I get to blame him for the whole thing. Mm-hmm. But it was my fault, and now we just can't make it work. But we're going to, so we didn't.
Yeah, man, you texted me today and were like, can you come podcast tonight, or was it last night or whatever? And I was like, you're going to podcast on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday? Yeah, Missy's going to murder you.
Well, yeah. You know what? Good point. Thursday, I don't believe I can anyway, so I'll have to break news to the guys. But so, before we get into your tweet and all that good stuff, I did want to bring up, speaking of, I said put a pin in it, I said I'd save it for the last segment, but I'm not going to. I'm going to do it now.
It's your podcast, man.
So
call your audibles.
I did say so. I decided that the least downloaded episodes we do are wrestling episodes, right? Uh-huh. So I was like, well, maybe I don't want to ever discourage Jay and Tom, especially when we're together, of talking about it, because they're passionate. I love it too, but they're passionate about it. Yeah. So I was like, let's don't shy away. Let's lean super hard into it. So you know how we have the Comic Pod spinoff. So when it's the three of us, I'm gonna let them do a wrestling spinoff. And
that's
here's
cool.
what I told him. I said, you guys bring all your topics. I'll sit back like Jamie on the JRE or any. I'll sit back and just be the producer. You guys just go back and forth. I'll weigh in if you need me. And then at the end of the segment, there's this thing in wrestling called it's the 5 Moves of Doom. Because notoriously, years and years ago, when he was in the middle of a good run, someone asked a pro wrestler, Dolph Ziggler,
Yep.
how do you get over in this business? And he said, "Oh, you got to just sell the 5 Moves of Doom from John Cena and hand over the belt." He something paraphrasing that. He basically said Cena had 5 moves, so they call him the 5 Moves of Doom. So I said at the end of each of our episode, while you guys go back with whatever you want to talk about, I'll weigh in on current events in the wrestling world and not tell you about them and get your hot takes on them instead of a throw it to Missy segment.
Okay.
So what we're doing is we're going to call it the Botched Finish Podcast, and I made their art for them.
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
I know.
Are they in there?
No, they're not, but I'm going to put them in there.
Okay.
I'm going to do it. I did it before, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to put all 3 of us in there.
That's pretty badass.
So I feel
Are
like
you
it's
drawing that, or are you just finding little pixelated characters?
I find the
and
little
nipping
pixelated
them?
characters, and then I drew the background
Okay.
and the lettering, and then I'm going to draw over the guys.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
So here's the deal.
Look at you being all talented.
I feel
and shit.
it's like this is very much us.
Yeah.
Instead of shying away from something that isn't working, we're just going to go hard at it.
Just go. We're gonna shove it down your throat, whether you like it or not.
And I figure maybe it'll find its own audience. You know, if we do, and then we'll post it on wrestling.
Don't
boards
give
and
up.
bullshit.
You know, like just keep pushing. And if you wanna transition into a couple like random things. Speaking of wrestlers, do you see Bad Bunny is getting his own Marvel movie?
Okay, I'm glad you brought this up. Do you know
And
who
he's
the character
not.
is?
He's not getting his own He's getting his own Sony Marvel movie.
Yeah, but do you know who the character
it's
is?
El Muerto.
I'm asking you if you know who the
No.
character is. Okay,
you know
that's
why?
the reason.
Do you know why though?
Yeah.
Because he's only been. I think he's a Joe Quesada character, and he's only been in 2 comic books ever.
Yeah, well, that was kind of my point. Like, no one know. Like, I'm going to go back to something I asked. I think maybe it was you, or maybe it was in our car ride. Why the fuck is Madam What's-Her-Face getting...
Madam Web.
Why is she getting her own movie?
There's never been a good Madam Web storyline. Nobody's ever glad she's there.
Even if there were, she's a tertiary character. She's not even a top-notch villain for
Why
Spider-Man.
wouldn't they go Jessica Jones first? Or an alternate universe where Tobey Maguire's daughter is Spider-Girl.
Or Spider-Gwen, or something. I mean, which they're kind of doing.
Well, they're kind of doing Spider-Gwen, which I'm sure they got in the works. But, do Spider-Girl where he had a daughter and she had his powers.
I would rather see the Web-Slinger team when there was all the different other...
the different versions of them?
Yeah. Anything but Madam Mask and El Mariachi. Madam Web and El Mariachi. And I know it's something.
El Muerto.
Yeah, I'm sorry for being a little bit racist there.
It's just so, even if you're going to do the Rogues Gallery of villains, do Doc Ock, do the Lizard, do Boomerang, because at least it's fucking funny.
You can keep milking that Venom.
Yeah,
for as long
which I guess they're getting a 3rd one of those, apparently.
Well, it keeps making money.
Yeah.
And there lies the problem. Here's what I would charge. I don't want to ever ruin anyone's job. I mean, there's a lot of great actors that are in these movies.
Yeah.
But if truly the comic book world were smart, and don't get me wrong, I'm saying that they're at fault here. I know it's regular Joes that don't know comic books go see these movies too, and that's why they make a lot of money. Mm-hmm. But if every comic book person said, you know what, enough's enough with the shitty Sony movies, and just didn't watch them, didn't go see them, didn't stream them, they would stop making them. But Sony, but what else does Sony have in superhero properties? They got the Spider-Man universe. So we got to milk that cow till its udders are dry.
And they're never going to give it up. They're never going to
not as long as it makes money.
Their best case scenario is they'll keep murdering characters until finally Disney's like, all right, fuck it, we'll just buy you.
I like too how you started this segue too. Speaking of pro wrestlers, Bad Bunny is
he's playing a wrestler,
but he's been in wrestling too.
Apparently he's a big wrestling fan, and
he was awesome at the Royal Rumble. He's been at WrestleMania. He's done it. He's wrestled multiple matches. I believe.
Does he wrestle, or is he just going as a side character?
No, he's wrestled in the matches.
See, I had no idea.
Jumped off the top rope.
That's awesome. I mean, good for him. He's
also. I undersell this because I don't know his music well, and it's not even.
I don't either.
But he's a megastar in music.
He's got like 50 million followers on Instagram. Or
He's
something.
got like it had the most streamed video on YouTube.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's just not my wheelhouse. I'm too old for it now.
So, speaking of, you're going to make money. So you're taking a character that no one knows, no one cares about, but you're making it a superhero movie, so you're going to get a little bit of traffic in there.
Yeah.
And you're putting Bad Bunny in it, which is going to get a little more.
Absolutely.
Now, I will say this. Have you seen the trailer for the other movie he's in, the Brad Pitt movie?
The Train to
Busan, whatever it is.
Train to something or another.
It's not Train to Busan.
That's a zombie movie, isn't it? Bullet Train or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
That trailer looks awesome.
It does look awesome.
Yeah,
Who's directing that?
It's someone, some stylized niche director or anything. But speaking of directors, your tweet. Let's get into your tweet.
Okay.
And because I brought him up.
I stand by that tweet.
Well,
did you not agree with it, or did you find did I punctuate it wrong?
No. It's just that. So it was worth thinking about. I don't know if so. Pull your tweet up real quick, and I'm gonna pull up who we're talking about. Here's what I'm talking about. Bender's gonna read it word for word, but essentially what Bender said is, I'm kind of over Guy Ritchie movies, and I was like, you were watching one in particular. Oh, Wrath of Man.
Yeah,
which I didn't find awful.
Okay, here's what I wrote. I'm 15 minutes into Wrath of Man.
15 or 50?
15.
All right,
with Jason Statham, and I cannot go on any longer. Maybe all Guy Ritchie movies have too much dialogue, and the British accents make it sound sophisticated, but this is awful. Okay. And I stand by it. I stopped.
Let me see that tweet though. Let me see it though. There was something about it that really. Maybe all Guy Ritchie movies. That's what it was. Like, so I was like, well, let's look at all Guy Ritchie movies. Okay. We just want to. You can either give it a kick it or keep it, however it is. Tom always brings all these games to us where it's fuck it or leave it. I don't know. Yeah. Whatever we do. So obviously the first one, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
I'll keep it.
Well, you gotta keep it.
You gotta keep it, but it's not as good as Snatch.
No, but it's a great movie.
It's a great movie. He found his voice.
So on IMDb, it's an 8.2. Snatch is an 8.3.
Yeah.
They're both amazing.
Yeah.
So after that, we're not even going to get to his whole video directing with Madonna, which led to Swept Away with Madonna.
I've honestly never seen it.
Well, you shouldn't. It's a 3.6.
I heard it's really bad.
Really. Then there's Revolver. Have you seen Revolver?
I have seen Revolver. It's not as good or sophisticated as...
It's a Guy Ritchie movie, but it's also Jason Statham. So it's also, speaking of wordy...
It's not Gerard Butler's in it, I think.
No. We're going to get to that one in a little bit.
Oh, then I'm thinking of the wrong one.
No, this one's got Jason Statham, Ray Liotta, Andre 3000, Vincent Pastor.
Yeah. No, it's not great.
But you know what it did? It is. It's probably the biggest dip for me of his movies, and I'm not counting the Madonna one. What's weird... What's very good about it is when you get to the payoff, the last 5-10 minutes, it's very cool.
But his payoffs are always very
But that was a long movie to get there.
Yeah.
Then we get the one you were about to talk about, and I love this movie, Rock and Rolla.
Yeah, I thought it was fun. I just didn't think it was... I was expecting... And that's the problem with both of those, Revolver and Rock and Rolla. You're expecting Snatch level of... dialogue and and that, and I didn't get it.
I'm a massive fan of Rock and Rolla. It's a 7.3, so it's a little below rating on MDB.
But I don't know. I think I've only watched it once. Maybe I'd have to give it another shot.
Because there's great dialogue, especially between Gerard Butler and Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
Because Tom Hardy's character is...
Which one's the fucked up, star?
Well... No, that's, we'll get to it. Tom Hardy's character's Handsome Rob, and he's gay.
Yeah.
And it comes out over the course of the movie. And then all the dialogue leading up to it, the only person in the room is Gerard Butler, so there's subtle jokes from Idris Elba, who's awesome. Tom Wilkinson's in it.
That's a spectacular
cast. Thandie Newton, Mark Strong, Tom Hardy, let's see, Toby Cabell, who I don't, he's the weird dude in it. He's the fucked up star. He's
the rock star guy.
He's Johnny
in
Quid.
Stuff,
then it's got Jeremy Piven, Ludacris, who he brought back for it. But, I'm a massive fan of this movie. I love a lot of the movie. For me, it's more akin to Snatch. To Lock, Stock than it is Snatch.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
It's a little more of a, I don't know what the word a little more grungier than what.
Yeah.
Even though they're all pretty grungy. Intentional. So then he goes from there, he goes to Sherlock Holmes. I loved Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, yeah. Sherlock Holmes is a lot of fun.
Then he goes to Sherlock Holmes, A Game of Shadows. I do know they're making a third one finally.
Are they making a third one, or
Well,
are they
are doing a
also
series.
I think Robert Downey Jr. is doing a series now for HBO Max or something.
So here's where it gets interesting. Man from U.N.C.L.E.
I liked it, and
I
nobody
enjoyed
else
it.
did.
I enjoyed it. It's got a 7.2, which is not a bad rating on IMDb.
It's got the cannibal and Superman in it.
And yes, Henry Cavill and then Arlie Ermy.
Yeah, Armie Hammer.
Armie Hammer, yeah, the other name that sounds exactly the same. And then we go to a massive dip on something I really wanted to work. King Arthur.
It was so bad.
The first is 7 or 8 movies, and they're never making another one.
No.
I did not know this. The live-action Aladdin?
Yeah. Which people said that's good. I absolutely hated
It's a
it.
6.9. It doesn't have great reviews, or great, I mean, it's below. A 7 is like an average movie on IMDb.
Yeah.
Over 8 is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Now, here's another one that I want to get your opinion on, because I'm not going to lie to you. I've probably watched it 20 times. The Gentleman.
I haven't watched it 20 times, but I've watched it, and I enjoyed the shit out of it.
Literally every time it's on TV, I watch it.
Yeah. Well, it's just well, first of all, it made me a fan of Hugh Grant.
Again. Yeah.
So much so that I even listened to like a podcast he was on. He's an interesting guy. He's lived an interesting life. But just letting Matthew McConaughey just chew up scenery, like just be himself. And then I'm always a fan of like Charlie Hunnam being actually British.
Yeah. Well, apparently, so there is a Gentleman series in the works.
Oh, really?
It's in production right now. The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare is also in production. The Interpreter, he's got something called Empire Rising, and then in 2025 is Aladdin 2.
Gross.
Yeah, well, they did
The Return of Jafar.
Yes, exactly. They did a sequel.
There's 3, I think, cartoons.
Is there really?
And then there was like the Disney mini. All those movies got spin-offs
You know what,
in the
though?
90s.
Here's what's... Oh, you know what? Wrath of Man is covered up. That's why I didn't bring up Wrath of Man, because... Wait a minute. Well, that's a good point.
He's on here. Here's the thing. Holt, the boss in the armored car thing, which I assume at some point they all turn bad and he saves the day or whatever.
Yeah, you didn't finish it.
No, I assume they're all actually bad guys on the take or whatever. But the Holt McCallany like conversations that he's having with him, like where he's just like complimenting him subtly, but like no human being would have those conversations ever.
And
ever.
Wrath of Man was immediately after The Gentleman. It was 2 years after, and it got a 7.1. So it's bound down. It's getting right back down to that average.
It made Josh Hartnett, who I very much like as an actor, looks terrible in this movie.
Oh, the new one?
Wrath of Man. Josh Hartnett's in it.
No, it's not. What's he in Wrath of Man? I can't remember.
He's like the guy who has to be his partner.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Like when he shoots the guys in the beginning, and when I turned it off, he was freaking out, and he's like, "I got this. Don't worry about him, Jason Statham."
Well, they have a new one called Operation Fortune that he's done, and it's also, and I've seen this trailer, but
I haven't seen this.
This is it's got Jason Statham, it's got Carrie.
Oh, I did see this trailer.
It's got Aubrey Plaza, big fan of her.
Yeah, this looks funny.
Yeah, I want to see this. Hugh Grant, Josh Hartnett, big cast in this.
Yeah.
So I mean, overall though,
overall, he's batting like a 55.
I guess where your tweet got me. See, I don't think he's batting a 55.
You think he's higher?
I think he's hitting 750. I think of all those movies we went through, there were 2 turds. I'm getting rid of the Madonna one. That was clearly pussy talking. That was when he was like, and apparently she's got hypnotic vagina because she's wooed a lot of men into her fold and ruined them. Look what she did to Rodman. Look what she did to Rodman. Yeah, she turned him into marrying himself. But
did he really?
Yeah, he came out in a wedding dress and said, "I'm marrying myself."
Right. That was a long time ago. I thought he did something recently weird.
Well, yeah, he's Kim Jong Il.
I know he's his homeboy.
Kim Jong Un's homeboy, hanging with my homeboy.
His daughter plays in the WNBA.
No, she does not. She plays in the women's professional soccer league, and she's unbelievable.
Right. She's very talented.
She's the highest really talented. She just got signed. She's the highest paid athlete so far in the league.
Yeah,
part of that was ability. Part of that's because she's marketable. Yeah. So yeah, she's very good. She's on that. She actually is going to be on the women's. She's 19, and she's going to be on the women's national team this year.
She made it. Chick too, though.
Yeah, I mean, she got genetics.
Yeah.
I mean, if you guys ever want a great story, it's on YouTube and stuff. YouTube search Dennis Rodman broken dick. It's the funniest fucking story in the whole world. But anyway, it's like I said, I think the way I read your tweet when I read it, and it's why it stuck in my head, was like, I guess all Guy Ritchie movies are. I'm like, well, wait a minute. Some of them are pretty fucking awesome.
No, and they are. But I'd like a genuine British person to be like, no British person actually talks like this. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I wonder, you know?
Well, I mean, you talk about dialogue and wordiness. Has anybody you ever know talk like a person in Kevin Smith movies?
No.
Even in the nerd community.
Yeah, no.
Now, there's been some people that like to think they do, and they like to think they're quick and clever like that, but I can tell you, I know you people, I've been around you in conventions when I start, you ain't. No. I'm not either. I'm not either, so... It's a lot easier to sound quick, witty, and have rapid-fire dialogue when it's wrote over time and continuously revisited and revised. So,
and I think the other problem is, like, Jason Statham coming out of, like, Snatch, I was like, this guy is fucking awesome. Like, he's a cool character, he's funny, he's kind of a badass, and then he took that hard turn into, like, just hardcore action star, and he just lost all... He lost all the interesting character he built up.
So he did go into... Well, he's had a weird career. Because not only did he turn into the... Before all that, he was even in movies like... what's that Mark Wahlberg one? The Italian Job.
Yeah, and he was good in that.
That's not a bad movie. Then...
But he kind of plays like a parody of himself in, like, Snatch and in The Italian Job, where he's like, I'm a badass dude, and then, like, other people make fun of him around him.
But doing, like... the Transporter and all that stuff. That
Crank.
Crank. That's a good movie though.
It is what it is.
Yeah, but he's in some. I mean, and then every once in a while he'll play like in the Pink Panther. He'll be a character and but here you go. How about this one? In the Name of the King, a Dungeon Siege tale. You talk about a.
Oh, I see. I thought that was Dungeons and Dragons.
It was not. They didn't have.
I watched that and it was very bad.
Oh yeah, it's very bad, and it's got to be. I don't know the backstory, but I'm guessing it's a Chinese movie, kind of like The Wall was.
Yeah.
It's got Statham, Ron
There's
Perlman,
no Chinese people in there
Ray
though.
Liotta, Lily Sobieski, John Rhys Davies, Claire Forlani. Get me? I mean, it's a who's who. Matt Lillard. I mean,
really?
Yeah, it's got so many. Oh, Burt Reynolds. I forgot about that. Burt Reynolds.
I watched it one time.
That might be what eventually drove Burt Reynolds away from Hollywood into his grave. Is that movie?
I think he lasted a little longer
he did,
than that.
But he did. I don't think he came back to making movies.
Which one came out after that one? Did Longest Yard come out after that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, no.
Before?
This came out after Longest Yard, yeah. Longest Yard is... Let's look at the age on Longest Yard.
It's got to be almost 20 years.
Oh, yeah, it's got to be. It's another one I watch whenever it's on TV. Like,
yeah, it's great. Don't get me wrong.
It's a fun movie. Let's see. So just so you know, he made one movie after In Name of the King, and it was called Deal, and it's a 5.3 rating. In the Name of the King's got a 3.8, by the way, on IMDb.
Yeah.
Dukes have had, Longest Yard was 2005.
Okay.
That's a long time ago. That's damn near 20 years old.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah, we're getting old, dude.
Yeah, that's up there.
I was a sophomore in college. Should have been a junior.
Should have been a junior. Yeah. I was 2005. I was probably still a senior. I don't remember.
Yeah.
So that's what I brought. What did you bring to the table?
I didn't bring a whole lot either. I watched the new Scream. I told you about that when we were in Kansas City, and I
enjoyed it.
I enjoyed the shit out of it. I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought the twist at the end was a good time. I think they should stop and not do any more, but they won't.
Definitely. It was. Here's why it worked for me. Here's why I think it worked well, because when Scream come out, it was one of the, I mean, you can chart on a map, the revolutionary, or so to speak, or the things that revived a struggling genre. Saw was a big one. Scream was a big one.
Yep.
For Saw brought back kind of torture porn, which ushered in Hostel and things of that nature. But Scream brought back the slasher. It revived the Freddy, or not the Freddys, but I mean he is a slasher. But the Jasons, the Michael
Myers. Yeah.
But it was a comedy. It was a commentary on the genre.
Yeah.
And that's what made it so good. And then it had a bunch of really shitty movies, and they tried to go very meta with them, and didn't really execute that well.
I never saw the one with Hayden Panettiere.
Oh, yeah. You know what? One of the people in the movie turns out to be the killer. I just ruined it for you.
Weird.
Yeah.
Is it her?
So,
Yeah,
We can tell it's you. You're the only person in here that's 4 feet tall.
So yeah, you're the shortest Ghostface of all time, and your forehead is ginormous. So this one, why it worked so well, it did the same thing the other sequels did.
Yeah.
But it was now long enough to where it could be a parody of how bad the other sequels.
Yeah.
The requel, all of the things they did.
The one guy's watching them throughout the whole time, and they're really bad. They kind of look like Purge movies or whatever.
And because they did it, they could lay out a brand new set of rules that were unique. Like someone, and spoiler warning, people, someone from the original beloved member had to die. And I got to tell you what, there was
a good death.
Weight to that scene.
Do you think, and I was thinking about this the whole time, do you think that Courtney Cox and David Arquette, how often are they amicable? Because
Amicable, yeah.
Amicable.
I think, yeah, okay. It's like Worcestershire.
Yeah. I don't like. I feel like he was like really heartbroken about them breaking up.
I mean, he's got a new longtime woman. And
Okay.
You still have you not watched that documentary yet? You Can't Kill David Arquette?
No.
Oh my God, I think it's on Prime, dude. You will love it. You're not a wrestling fan.
Yeah, I know he's a psycho.
It's amazing. And she's in that. Courtney Cox is in that. They get along. They co-parent very well, I believe.
Oh, I didn't even realize they had kids.
I think they have a couple.
Really?
Yeah. But he legitimately wanted to be a wrestler.
Yeah. Oh, I know. And then he did that weird glass match with that one guy.
No, it wasn't a glass match, but the guy that he did it is essentially the current modern-day King of Deathmatch. And that guy goes a little too far.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even that bad a spot. And according to that guy, David Arquette was overselling how bad it was. Mm-hmm. But it was he took a fluorescent tube, and after breaking it over, he was supposed to drag it across his neck, but it really did stab him in the neck when he did it. So, yeah, but that documentary is awesome. I think you'd love it. So what though? So I don't know if we've done this for the new Scream. Here was my only problem with the movie, really, as a whole. Mm-hmm. The name of it was Scream.
Yeah.
That really irritated me.
But I think they brought that up.
It should have been.
It was a commentary inside of the movie in and of itself, also.
Yeah. But so, what did you? If you were to chart it on our Untapped scale of rating things out of 5,
for a horror movie, I'm gonna give it a 4 but I think it gets an extra bump because it's a horror movie and it's supposed to be a little cheesy. So I think it's a solid 4 out of 5.
I'm giving it a 4 as well, but also with the caveat, both Missy and I liked it, and Missy really likes horror movies, but I like it. For me, it's like a 3.5, but it gets that extra half point because it redeemed a lot of bad sequels.
Yes.
And you get bonus points for being nothing's going to be Scream 1 is a 5 out of 5.
Yeah. And then like the answering the house phone thing, like bringing in cell phones and the electronics, and then like just spoiler, but it like the social commentary on like toxic fandom.
Oh yeah.
By the end, is like it's a pretty good. And I liked how they named one of the characters Wes.
It worked for me the same way, and we've went over this movie, and people know my love for this one. I think it's the second best one, but for why Batman worked so well.
Yeah.
I had a conversation with Dwayne. Dwayne didn't like this Riddler. I said, well, this Riddler is the only Riddler that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Because a regular Riddler who gives you clues that he's about to rob the bank makes no sense. But one that's killing people and is giving you a chance to stop him, in a seven way.
And is also so crazy that he thinks you're on his side.
And the other thing that worked for me there is the same way that Scream does, is it played into incels and the dark web as its motivation, or at least its vehicle to help execute its revenge.
And like the justification of this, you ruined my childhood, so now I got to make it better by killing a bunch of fucking people.
Well, and just like how all his supporters showed up, like it wasn't a part of the whole movie, but and you could have said, man, what a weird choice. This doesn't make any sense. But no, it does.
Yeah.
Because he was playing to somebody. Because I'll be honest with you, I just assume that shit goes on in the dark web all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have never wanted to be a part of it.
No.
I've lived with people and know people that have had access to it or know how to access it. And I'm like, I don't even want that around me.
No.
Not because I don't think I'm just, listen.
You're going to do anything. I don't know
either.
enough.
They don't. Well, they didn't either. But it's not that I don't know enough. But it's the one thing where I'm so ignorant that I just assume by signing on means somebody's going to kill me.
Yeah, that or like you're on a government watch list for the rest of your life.
That's probably more accurate. Yeah. If they track you, I mean, yeah.
Maybe they don't. I don't know. I assume that somebody is. Yeah, I enjoyed it though. I thought it was a good time. And then, that I'm not caught up on Moon Knight, which sucks.
Oh, you got to do that. That final episode's this Wednesday. It's going to be awesome.
there 2 more?
Nope. You're that far behind then. Episode 6 is Wednesday.
Is it really? Maybe I'm 2 episodes behind.
Wow,
then.
you're way off.
It's been a rough couple weeks.
Yeah. Well, tell people real quick why, and then we'll get back to...
Well, what's Comic-Con? My very first one, our Planet Comic-Con in Kansas City.
Day 1, you did well.
Day 1 was a blast. We walked around. I bought a book from some guy. It was called Revere. I haven't read it yet, but it looks cool. The art's pretty good. It was an independent artist. It was $20. Signed it. You got Scotty Young's autograph.
Yep.
We saw Rob Macchio.
Ralph Macchio.
And Joey Fatone. That was cool.
Yeah, we saw the fat one and the Karate Kid.
Yeah, he had a sweet leather jacket on.
and
the Karate Kid.
The show, I mean, it was a typical Friday show in a sense that where you could see a lot of stuff and it wasn't very crowded.
Yeah.
Saturday didn't get as crowded as we expected, but what we typically do after, while I did say on this podcast that there was no concussions, I guess we did have a casualty still after night 1. Now, we did get hammered. I did talk a little bit about, but just very briefly. So we went to the Big Rip.
Yeah, I saw that. No, you went to the Big Rip with me.
No, that's what I'm saying. We're talking about. I'm talking about night 1 in general.
Oh, okay.
That what's led to you disappearing from the weekend. But
yeah, we went to Big Rip.
Was awesome. That was my favorite spot that we went to.
Yeah, dude, and their art on the walls and stuff, all their beers and everything were named after like classic horror movies.
Yeah, or sci-fi. Or something.
It was good stuff.
Yeah.
Really good. Really good beer, really good barbecue.
Yeah, barbecue attached or next door to it, so you could.
And then
order.
we went to
Borders.
That was the last one we went
Border,
to.
no S.
We went to Border last, but there was like
we went to, what did we do before that?
That was that outside one.
We went to Brewery Imperial, which
Imperial,
we do. We hit that one every year. It's a good brewery.
It's a good one. It was
good
fun.
location. Your brother-in-law thankfully met up with us, so we knew
he got so freaking drunk.
Oh, he was hammered. He was loving on me.
Yeah,
like he's a happy got drunk.
Yeah, nobody got hurt though that first night. But then I got a call at 2:00 in the morning that I was way too drunk.
2 o'clock?
She called me at 2, and then she called me at 3,
and then
she called me at 6.
6 is the only one I heard.
6 is the one that I heard too. I didn't hear the other 2. But my son was throwing up, and we were in Denver the week before, and he had like a virus of some sort. And he was throwing up the whole time we were in Denver, and he finally had stopped for about a week. And then all of a sudden on Friday night, he starts puking again. And I'm on the phone with her, and I'm trying to like figure out a way not to have to go home. And he starts throwing up like yellow bile, like just everywhere. And I was like, all right, I'm on my way. So my brother-in-law drove me home.
Thankfully, he sobered up.
Otherwise, I was going to have to rent a car or something.
Well, we'd have figured it out.
Yeah, so I drive straight to the hospital, and we get there, and he's like on his 3rd bag of IV fluids, and he's 3, so he's just looking absolutely pathetic.
Yeah.
And
anytime a 3-year-old's throwing up enough to lose weight, you don't want to notice a 3-year-old losing weight.
No, and the X-rays came back, and basically he had thrown up so much in Colorado that a chunk of his stomach had stopped working, and like food would sit above that section and below that section. He could move all that stuff, but everything above it would just built up, and then he just started throwing it up. And he came back positive with not COVID-19, but he had like one of the previous versions of Corona, like not the one that turned into
leave
COVID.
It to your kids.
Yeah, but like it was like Corona,
novel coronavirus.
Yeah, it was a novel coronavirus from a couple of years that's been around forever. So he had that while we were in Colorado. He was nobody else got it, but it was a rough 2 weeks for him. And we got home, and he just had to like lay around, and he threw up on and off throughout the day.
So when you got into the shower, Jay goes, how's he gonna get home? That's a good question, man.
Yeah.
And then when you came out and goes, I guess Mikey's gonna. We both were like, oh, thank God.
Yeah. I was like, I can't make them go. I was like, I guess I can rent a car, but like I was so worried about him, and then
you had to go home.
He just looked pathetic, and it sucks.
It was both a shitty thing that you had to do, but also the right move.
Yeah. And I'm like, fuck, man, my first one. I had so much fun. I want to go again next year.
Yeah, and we'll do it right, and it'll be worth it. In fact, you can go on that Saturday. You should go downtown with us to go see Wizard World. Or Fan Expo.
I think is that the end of this month?
It's May something. I don't know. It's hard to say. I think
it's the week after I get back from Jamaica.
Here's what cracked me up. So Dwayne and How Pow spilling some of the tea about them. They both brought their CPAP machine. They both.
Yeah. I never felt so old in my life.
You too have a CPAP machine.
But I didn't bring it because I didn't want to feel that old.
I know, but here's what's funny. So I snore. I know I snore.
Yeah.
But you also snore, and it's aggressive. But what's great, it's a 2-part snore. The first part is your typical,
Yeah.
and then you sound like the Predator, and it rattles. It goes,
Yeah.
and I go, but
That's me dying.
But at first I thought, I'm imagining this. And then I stayed awake for a little bit. They hear it. I was like, surely there's something stuck in his throat. And after about 20 times listening to it, and then in the morning I go, did you hear John sounding like the Predator? And he goes, I thought it was just me. I go, no. Victor sounds like he's cloaked and about to kill someone.
Next year I'll bring my CPAP machine.
I didn't notice other than if it wasn't for the phone call, I wouldn't have known it. But also, I was very impressed by your ability to wake up, have that phone conversation, and fall immediately back asleep.
Dude, I was still hammered. Still hammered when I got up.
So and by the way, we should also mention that we finished at Tomstown, which is a craft distillery.
Yeah.
With hard liquor.
Oh, yeah, I forgot we went there.
Yeah.
I got pictures on my phone for some reason. Like, I was just taking pictures of everybody at that point in the night.
So
we only had one drink there because I think we were all
had
just...
two.
Oh, so I was too drunk. I just couldn't have it anymore.
I wasn't sober.
Yeah.
But I tell you this, I was sober enough to where I could drink the next day, and we did drink the next day. Now, How Pal got hammered the next day. How got hammered, and then when we got back to the hotel, we got back into the lobby the next day, and we went into the that evening.
Yeah.
We were looking at like maybe we need some snacks for the room, and we all turned around and he disappeared. He had already went up to the room, used the bathroom, and got in bed.
Nice.
He was out.
Yeah.
He was done.
I saw you guys scootering away while I was waiting for my brother, and I was like, my brother-in-law, and I was like, oh, man, I'm so jealous.
Fun. And then
fucking kids ruin everything.
And How Pal likes to scooter to where we had breakfast, it's called like City Diner. It's the best greasy spoon for breakfast. And then we took the train back, or the metro back.
Yeah.
But when we went the next day, when it was just us and How Pal, because he didn't go to breakfast with us Sunday, he had his daughter had some sorority family thing. We scoot there and back because we love the scooters.
Yeah.
In
You
fact,
still trust How Pal?
Yeah, no. He's the one that always wants to take the train back, or for whatever reason. But we did figure out though, where we go to in the northern part from north of the show, where we go at breakfast. There's all kinds of like unique little like bars that seems like bars we would go to around here on a regular basis.
Yeah.
There. So next year, instead of messing with all that bullshit around we'll still hit breweries, but all that bullshit around the P&L, we're gonna go scoot north and do
Try
bar
to find
hop.
somewhere that's less than $20 a drink.
Do some bar hopping up there.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I did spend way too much money.
That's the only upside of going home early is I did not spend $500 on Saturday.
I did all weekend.
Yeah.
I did a lot more than that.
Yeah. I mean, I did all right on Friday night. I think I only spent like $200.
And it was all booze.
Yeah. Yeah, we were just... I only bought one $20 comic.
Yeah, and a lot of flights. And a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
so.
just a bunch of booze. And it was fun, man.
I'm happy for your half of your experience. You
Yeah,
had a good time.
Yeah, all my neighbors were like, "How was it?" I'm like, "It was badass." They're like, "Did you get any pictures?" I'm like, "They're online somewhere, but I didn't take any
You're
in
like,
particular."
I would have taken someone Saturday, but things popped up.
yeah. I tried it. I thought I took a picture of Joey Fatone, but it turns out I did.
I don't have anything other than so back to pop culture stuff. The only thing I can tell you is Missy and I think, are 3 or 4 episodes in on Ozark.
Everybody likes it.
So far, I haven't watched. Only review I've read of the final episode is that it lives up to all your expectations.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna wait because so far the first 3 or 4 episodes have been really good.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
Rachel and I are watching the Minx slowly because we have small kids, so they always end up ruining it.
It had a good ending.
It's good though. I'm enjoying it. I think I think we're halfway through the season. It's the episode where the one that just ended was where she left the country club because
that's a good episode.
Yeah, it was a very good episode.
Yeah, where she puts him on blast for being essentially a sexual predator.
I like the sister, man. Like they did a good job writing that sister.
Buckle up, it gets better with the sister. Yeah.
Oh, dude, she's funny.
It's a good show. I think it's 10 episodes. It's a good show. It's well worth watching. I did that. I can't even think if I've really watched or done anything else. I mean, it's been coming back from the show and then right back into the regular life. It's been busy week, so I haven't watched a lot. Although I am caught up, like I said, I'm caught up on Winning Time. Oh, I tell you what,
I haven't watched Winning Time.
Well, I tell you what, it's getting a lot of shit from the people that actually live that.
Yeah, I mean, it's supposed to be satirical, though, right?
I I don't know.
I mean, it was never dubbed a real documentary, was it?
Well, I mean, it's based on a book that was written about it. I mean, it's not a documentary, but it's actors playing the part.
Okay.
But, I mean, I wouldn't call Flight whatever a documentary, but it's based on the events that happened. So
like King Richard, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
apparently he's more of a dick than in real life than what Will Smith portrayed him as.
But yeah, I mean, it's so I'm caught up in that. But I tell you what, something we haven't. I don't know that I've talked about it on the show. I may have. I don't know if you've seen any of it. I am fully caught up on Halo.
Are you liking it? I watched like the first 25 minutes of the first episode and didn't love it.
I'm liking it, not loving it. I think so when they have action, it's
pretty good.
awesome.
Yeah.
There's a lot of backstory that I didn't anticipate a Halo show have. And I tell you what, I haven't played a game since Halo 2, so I don't know.
I don't think I've ever finished a Halo game.
Oh, me neither. I just play multiplayer.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm just naive to the story. I'm ignorant to the fact that there is a backstory about the Master Chief and all this stuff.
I don't think there is. I think it's all about the Halo, which they don't ever actually bring up, apparently.
Oh no, they do.
Do they?
It's it's the main part of the show. You just got to get to it. The Master Chiefs, and I do think that there's some of this that plays into the show or the game.
He takes his helmet off, right? And they don't do that in the game. I know that.
Well, it's also a first-person shooter. So my favorite thing is when he walks. All of the Spartans walk. It's because they're so big and muscular.
They look cool as shit. Like their suits look fucking awesome.
It does. It looks great. And it's here's where I think it fails. I think I commend them for giving a B story in one of the survivors of the original battle that takes place in the show.
Yeah.
And I get that what you're trying to do. It's just not that entertaining.
Yeah.
And I don't see where she's going yet. Her story's going yet. I like that it's a AWOL Spartan who's taking care of her, which is his former buddy. But the Master Chief himself, the guy that plays him, I can't think of what his name is, but he's been in a lot of stuff as a tough guy or whatever.
Okay.
He does a great job. I don't hate his story at all. In fact, I don't hate any of the story that revolves around the Spartans, the foil, the arbiters or whatever they're
the bad guys.
Yeah, and the girl that comes from that, I don't find her I don't find her story and her reason for being there very entertaining either. But overall, it's good enough that I'm going to finish it, and I hope they do a better second. The battling is awesome in it.
Yeah, like that first battle in the town where there's only one survivor, and it's the one you're talking about. But like it was a lot of fun. I think the CGI is a little wonky, but it's better than you'd expect for a
TV series.
Series on a fairly new platform. Paramount Plus is pretty new.
Yeah, and my thing, I think I brought this up when we were driving to the show. I mean, I think. There's an argument for me to be made that this past season, The Mandalorian... Well, let me rephrase it. Book of Boba Fett, Mandalorian 2.5.
Yeah.
I thought it was good, but where it lost me was that final episode. It it was too big for a TV show. Like, they tried to do a big town battle.
Yeah, and it just didn't... They kind of Game of Thrones...
We don't have the budget for it, So it kind of Wheel of Time did that on Amazon Prime.
They spent all their money on that Rancor fight, and they just made a bunch of tactically errors that don't make any sense in an actual battle.
It only makes sense if you have 4 blocks to play with on your set. You know, so but
you know what show does that well though is Our Flag Means Death, where the entire thing is taking place in a seaport apparently.
But it takes place. It leans into its lunacy of its setting and whatnot.
Dude, I still every day I wake up and think about that show, and it's been a long time since I thought about a show and just how ridiculous Taika Waititi's character and Steed's... I don't know Steed's real name.
Yeah, I know you're talking.
And just their interactions it's just so fucking great.
Well, I also like that his name's not Steve.
Yeah.
In fact,
I think it is Steve, right?
No, it's not. You look it up. It's not. I looked it up.
I thought his official name, when he's a rich guy, is Steve, and he changed it to Steed to sound like a cool pirate. Maybe and he just never explained it to anybody.
No, it's Steed Bonnet. Is it?
Okay.
That is Reese Darby, who's fucking
God,
hilarious.
he's so fucking funny.
But everybody, Joel Fry, who plays Frenchie, Olawande is Samson Ko. This show's a 5 out of 5 for me.
Oh, absolutely.
I love it.
Just absolutely
My
love it.
favorite character, maybe Black Pete. Turns out to be also gay.
Yeah.
I mean, he had the voice, so you thought he was going to be the one guy that wasn't because he had the voice, but he's also gay.
It's good stuff. If you want to talk comics, I just finished it today before I came. It was The Things miniseries. It was a 6-run miniseries written by Walter Mosley. And he's not like a big comic guy. He usually does novels. And Tom Riley is the artist. And Reilly is the artist. It's a six story series. It's The Thing. He's on his own. His girlfriend breaks up with him, and he goes on this like supernatural dating site type thing with a fairy hooks him up with this woman, and shit just gets goes crazy, obviously. And he meets this little boy, and they go on these random adventures together. And Dr. Doom comes in. The story's I'd say the story's probably a 3, but Tom Riley's art is very, very Kirby-esque.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not bad art. It leans into
I love
it's nostalgic, like the old school comic book art style. Covers are awesome.
Yeah, the covers are awesome. And then Death is one of the main characters in this. And there's some scenes where the dream sequences are all in oranges and blacks, and I don't know how he does such a good job with his oranges and blacks and displaying. There's a scene where he's dreaming about everybody in the MCU dead, and there's the Eternals and the Celestials and Galactus, and everybody's there, and they just look fucking spectacular. And it's a lot of fun though.
I'll probably
if you
read
want
it on the app.
Yeah, it is a standalone. When this is what when I started going back to Bugs Comics, I just wanted a standalone series because I didn't know if I wanted to buy every issue of something every once in a while. I knew this was a 6-part series, and I dug Tom Riley's art. And I enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. It's definitely worth reading.
I think I should, since you talked about Bugs Comics, I think I should let you know what this weekend is, right?
It's free comic book.
Not as well as Mother's Day, but more importantly, Saturday's free comic book day.
Is it Saturday?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
I'll have to swing by there then.
Also, Multiverse of Madness. So
which is apparently banned in Saudi Arabia for 12 seconds of dialogue about how America Chavez's parents' mothers. She says something about her mothers because in the comics she's got lesbian moms. And Saudi Arabia was like, we'll just ban the whole movie.
Can't have someone of Arabic, or what is her descent?
I think she's like.
She's not even Arabic.
No, I think she's Spanish.
Get off your high horse, there.
But
Saudi.
it's the homosexuality, and they asked him
everything.
They asked him to cut it, and
they said they wouldn't.
And Disney said they wouldn't because they'd get so much backlash from it, and apparently they only make. I think the last movie there made $5 million or something.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, there's certain people who've hitched their wagon to Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates and Emirates and all that, and the WWE, the UFC. It's when the women wrestle over there, they wear bodysuits instead of their wrestling gear.
Well, what was the golfer that was trying to?
Phil Mickelson.
Phil Mickelson hitched his wagon to them.
Yeah,
and the PGA was like, "Cool, anybody who goes is out."
Kind of blackballing him.
Yeah.
And he's a Hall of Famer. He's a borderline, one of the top 3 fan favorites of all time.
Yeah.
And even the fans are like, whoa, dude.
Yeah.
And here's the thing with Phil.
What's your anti-American rhetoric here, bro?
Well, it's his
paycheck.
Actually, it's the most American rhetoric because it's his capitalist rhetoric. And he was hitching his wagon to 12, 13, 14, $15 million payday. So.
Yeah. But he was, he deems himself like a patriotic American.
He did it wrong.
Kind of shit. Yeah, he did it absolutely
He misplayed
wrong.
his hand.
And then he backtracked preting freaking hard.
Yeah, he had pocket aces, and he failed to go all in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Somebody hit a straight on the river. So
what was the other thing I was thinking? Oh, did you see that Justin Lin's out on Fast X?
Yeah, costing him some. I saw they were replacing him.
It's the guy who did Crank 2.
Oh my God! It all ties back into Crank. So Here's the thing.
Does
it really matter who's directing it?
It doesn't, because it's Vin Diesel's movie. Vin Diesel is directing it.
Yeah, and the story's written. I mean, hey, we're going to have car chases. We're going to have some stupid dialogue from Vin Diesel. And we're going to have a lot of bad jokes.
Yeah.
Movie done.
It is Louis Leterrier is replacing him, and he did The Transporter 2 and The Incredible Hulk. The,
Ed Norton?
Yeah, thank you.
He did the Ed Norton one? Huh.
Yeah. He also did Clash of the Titans, and he did Now You See Me.
Clash of the Titans?
Yeah, Clash of, that's what I said.
Oh, Now You See Me. You said Class, but it's okay.
I meant to say Clash.
I know what you meant. I didn't know if there was a different movie, like it was or something else. Now You See Me was a good movie.
It was a good movie. The second one, not so much.
Well, the second one was doomed from the very beginning because instead of calling it Now You Don't, they called it Now You See Me 2, which is the stupidest thing.
Yeah.
There's not a title that's ever been written more perfectly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean...
He also did a movie called The Brothers Grimsby with Sacha Baron Cohen, and I have no idea what the fuck that is.
I never watched it.
I have no idea what that is.
So, Fast X has also... It's the final arc, and it's finally the
well, they were supposed to shoot them back to back.
It's the 9 and 10?
Is it 9 and 10? No, this is 10 and 11.
No, it's done. 10 is it.
I thought they were doing... No, they're supposed to be doing 2.
Look it up, man. It's done.
That's not what I read.
Unless they've changed it. But so it's the final battle with Charlize Theron's character.
Yeah.
Which
Jason Momoa is in it now.
Yeah, because their other Samoan bowed out.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to be in it.
We don't need you, Rock.
Which means
we got a guy with hair.
Which probably means his cousin, who was in the last one, Roman Reigns, also not going to be in it since The Rock's
Roman Reigns wasn't in it?
He was in the last one? He was one of the... He was the... at the island they went to, the Samoan island, he was the...
That was in Hobbs and Shaw, right?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Maybe I never finished that. I tried to watch that like 4 times and never finished it.
Yeah.
And I'm an Idris Elba fan.
Hobbs and Shaw was infinitely better than Fast 9.
Was it?
Oh, man. Fast 9 is probably one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
So it says, Fast X was originally envisioned as a first of a 2-part conclusion to the Fast and Furious saga.
And now they're doing one. And
maybe they're going to do one and just be done.
Well, I think
it's a cash cow, though. It doesn't matter.
I think when your director bows out, one of the stars in The Rock bow out, and I think that
it all comes down to like apparently it's all because
money?
Of Vin Diesel. It's just hard to work with on set. Like this is his baby, and like
oh yeah, The Rock said that cast and crew members that he'll let remain nameless have all privately contacted. Thanks for bringing out his bullshit into the public eye. Which is also kind of a bitch move, too.
Yeah, it is kind of a bitch move.
But what are you going to do? You're The Rock. You can do no wrong.
My favorite tweet defending Vin Diesel not too long ago was somebody was like, Vin Diesel on his yacht in Italy looking a little fat. And like the first comment was like, cool, where's your yacht in Italy?
Right. That's absolutely right. I saw that. That was pretty funny. I don't know if I have anything else. I think we covered the wrestling stuff that I was going to talk about with our...
We hit up some pop culture, some comics, my sick kid who keeps trying to die on me.
Yeah, it's really... You got a real...
this last one is just...
We actually talked about... I talked about this with your cousin. We decided it's your fault.
I guess.
Apparently the dietary genetic problem comes from you. I mean...
No. Rachel's mom had the same thing happen to her last year.
And your cousin's wife brought that up, too. So we thought you just... Whatever you have is contagious. It's airborne.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, you're like... It's like Bender 1.
My guts work fine now.
Yeah, but you've had some issues.
I have.
And
it turns out if you just eat some spinach every once in a while, they'll clear up.
Vera had some issues.
She did.
Yeah, so it's all you, man.
Yeah, she's good now.
It's either that or Rachel is slowly poisoning her entire family.
That's Mom, more likely because she's in the medical field.
Yeah. She get away with it, too.
Yeah, right? She knows what she's doing.
All right, well, I don't have anything else.
I don't either.
Then we should just go ahead and wrap up. No one else is here to say bye. You can say it.
So hold on to your butts, people.
And I will play the music.
What though?